Grace's hands were shaking. She stood in the shining office lobby, holding a metal bucket and an old mop. Her maid uniform was clean but faded. Her shoes were worn out. Around her, rich people in suits laughed, checked their phones, and sipped coffee. At the center of the lobby stood Mr. Carter. Tall. Expensive suit. Expensive watch. Expensive attitude. He was talking loudly to some important guests. "This company is built on high standards," he said with a big fake smile. "We don't tolerate mistakes here." Just then, Grace hurried past with her mop. Someone had called her to clean a coffee spill near the reception. She lowered her head and moved quickly. But a waiter rushed by with a tray of hot coffee. He bumped into Grace. The tray tilted. Crash. Cups fell. Hot coffee splashed all over the floor, and all over Mr. Carter's shiny shoes. Silence. The whole lobby froze. Everyone stared. Mr. Carter looked down at his stained shoes, then slowly raised his head and glared at Grace. "You useless woman," he shouted. His voice echoed in the lobby. Grace stepped back, terrified. "Yes, sir, I'm so sorry." The waiter. Mr. Carter cut her off. "Do you know how much these shoes cost? More than your entire life." People stared in shock. Some staff looked down, scared to speak. One young employee secretly pulled out his phone and started recording. Grace's eyes filled with tears. "Please, sir. I didn't mean." "In front of our guests," Mr. Carter yelled. "You embarrass me like this. In this company, people like you should not even be seen." He pointed at the floor. "Kneel. Clean it. Now." Grace's heart broke. She slowly went down on her knees in front of everyone. Her hands shook as she wiped the floor around his feet. Tears fell on the tiles. "If you were there, would you say something? Or would you stay silent like the others?" Mr. Carter looked around the lobby proudly. "This," he said to the guests, "is why poor people stay poor. They can't do even a simple job right." But what he didn't know, someone very important was watching. And his instant karma was already on the way. That morning had already been hard for Grace. She woke up before sunrise in her tiny one-room apartment. Her son, Liam, still slept on their thin mattress in the corner. The ceiling had a crack. The fan made a loud ticking sound. Grace packed Liam's school bag, kissed his forehead, and whispered, "Study well, okay? One day you won't have to struggle like Mama." She put on her uniform. She only had 2 sets, and this one was starting to fade. She checked her purse. Just a few coins. Rent was due next week. She took a deep breath. "I must not lose this job," she told herself. At the bus stop, people pushed and shouted. Grace stood quietly, holding onto the strap of her old bag. When the bus came, she squeezed inside. No seat, of course. Just more pushing. By the time she reached the office tower, her feet already hurt. Inside the building, the marble floors shone. Security guards bowed to rich clients. Big screens showed the company logo. Grace walked straight to the staff room. She signed in and grabbed her cleaning cart. Her supervisor, Mia, looked stressed. "Grace, hurry," Mia said. "Big foreign clients are here today. Mr. Carter wants everything perfect. No mistakes. If he sees any dust, he will shout." Grace nodded. "Yes, I'll be careful." She worked quickly. She cleaned the washrooms. She polished the glass doors. She wiped the elevators. All the time, she repeated one thing in her mind. "Don't mess up. Don't lose this job. Liam needs you." Later, as she was cleaning the staff area, she heard laughter from the lobby. Mr. Carter's voice. He laughed loudly as he walked with the guests. "Our maid staff is slow," he joked. "But don't worry, we make them work." The guests laughed with him. Mia rushed in. "Grace, spill in the lobby, quick. Mr. Carter is there. Run." Grace grabbed her mop and rushed out. Her heart was beating fast. She didn't want to make him angry. She pushed the mop bucket into the lobby. That's when it happened. The waiter. The tray. The crash. The hot coffee. And now, Grace was on her knees, cleaning the mess while people stared. I said faster. Mr. Carter barked. What are you, a turtle? Grace's fingers burned from the hot coffee on the floor. Her eyes blurred with tears. She tried to stay calm. Please, sir, she whispered. I don't want any trouble. I really need this job. My son. No one cares about your son, Mr. Carter snapped. This is a company, not a charity. Some staff looked at each other. They felt bad, but no one dared to move. One young intern, Daniel, whispered to his friend, "This is wrong." "Shish, you want to get fired," his friend replied. Mr. Carter turned to the guests again. "You see, if I don't shout, they don't work." Then he said the words that cut her heart into pieces. "You're fired. Take your poor drama somewhere else. Get out after you clean this mess." Grace froze. Fired. Her world went dark for a moment. Her hand stopped moving. The cloth dropped from her fingers. How will I pay rent? How will I buy Liam's books? She felt like the floor was opening under her. Like she was falling into a deep hole. But she forced herself to keep cleaning. She didn't want to cry louder in front of everyone. Behind Mr. Carter, near the glass entrance, a man in a simple dark suit watched everything in silence. He had just walked in. No one noticed him yet. But very soon, everyone would know his name, and Mr. Carter's nightmare would begin. The man in the dark suit slowly walked forward. He had a calm face. No big watch. No loud tie. Just quiet confidence. The receptionist finally noticed him and almost jumped. "Yes, sir. I didn't know you were." The man raised his hand softly. "It's okay." Mr. Carter was still shouting. "Look at this disaster," he said. "Is this how you represent my company? On your knees like some beggar?" Grace bit her lip so hard it almost bled. Her hands trembled. A tear rolled down her cheek and fell onto the marble floor. The man stepped closer. "Is there a problem here?" he asked. Mr. Carter turned around, annoyed. "Who are you and why are you?" Then he finally saw the man's face clearly. The color drained from his own face. Mr. King," he stammered. The whole lobby went silent again. Daniel, the intern, whispered, "Is that Daniel King? The main investor?" His friend nodded, eyes wide. "The man who owns almost half the company." Mr. King looked at Grace on the floor, then at Mr. Carter. "A problem, you asked?" he repeated quietly. "Yes. I think there is a big problem." Mr. Carter forced a nervous laugh. "This maid is irresponsible, sir. She ruined our meeting. Coffee on my shoes, in front of our guest. We maintain standards here, you know that." Mr. King didn't smile back. He crouched down to Grace's level instead. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. Grace looked up, surprised. No one ever spoke to her like that. Especially not someone rich. "I am fine, sir," she whispered. "I'll finish cleaning and leave." "Leave?" Mr. King asked. "Why would you leave?" "Because she's fired," Mr. Carter cut in quickly. "She's always causing problems. Poor people like her bring our image down. I was just teaching her a lesson." Mr. King stood up. "Teaching a lesson," he repeated slowly. "Interesting." He turned to the staff. "Has she caused problems before?" he asked. Everyone looked at each other, scared. Mia finally spoke, voice shaking. "No, sir. Grace is one of our best workers. She always comes early. Stays late. Never complains." Mr. Carter glared at her, but it was too late. Mr. King nodded. "I see." He looked at the young intern still holding his phone. "You were recording?" The intern froze. "I'm sorry, sir. I just thought. Can I see it?" Mr. King asked. The intern hesitated, then handed his phone over. The video played. Grace spilling by accident. Mr. Carter shouting. The insults. The words, "People like you should not even be seen." The order to kneel. The guests. The staff. The silence. Mr. King watched the whole thing. His jaw tightened. "Do you speak to all your employees this way, Mr. Carter?" he asked coldly. Mr. Carter swallowed. "It was just heat of the moment, sir. You know how these people are. If we don't put them in their place. These people? Mr. King repeated. He took a breath. Mr. Carter, do you know who cleaned this building when my father first rented one floor here? He asked. Mr. Carter blinked. I don't know, sir. My mother, Mr. King said softly. She was a maid. Just like Grace. The whole lobby shook with shock. Staff gasped. Even the guests stared with wide eyes. Mr. King looked down at Grace again. This time with deep respect. I grew up watching my mother clean floors while rich people screamed at her for tiny mistakes, he said. I promised myself, if I ever had power, I would never let anyone treat a worker like trash in a building I own. His voice became sharp now. And yet here you are. The CEO of my biggest company. Insulting a maid in front of clients. For an accident that wasn't even her fault. Mr. Carter's lips trembled. Yes, sir, please. I didn't know. That she's human? Mr. King interrupted. Do you need to know their story to give them basic respect? Mr. Carter started sweating. His hands shook. We can handle this privately, he said in a low voice. There's no need to make a scene. I'll give her some money, it's fine. Mr. King shook his head. You already made a scene, he said. In front of your staff. In front of clients. In front of me. He turned to the receptionist. Call the board of directors, Mr. King said. Emergency meeting. Now. Everyone stared. If you were in Mr. Carter's place right now, what would you be feeling? Fear? Shame? Or still ego? Mr. King looked at Grace. Until this is solved, he said gently, you are not fired. You will sit in my office and drink some water. Do you understand? Grace's lips trembled. But sir, That's an order, he said kindly. Today, someone will finally respect you in this building. She nodded slowly, tears rolling down her cheeks. As she walked away, some staff silently moved aside for her. For the first time, they looked at her not as just a maid, but as a person. Behind them, Mr. Carter stood frozen. His voice, that was so loud before, was now completely silent. But his karma was only just beginning. The boardroom was large, with long glass walls and a big polished table. Usually, Mr. Carter sat at the head of that table with a proud smile. But today, he sat there with his shoulders tense and his hands shaking under the table. The board members took their seats. Some looked confused. Some looked angry. Mr. King sat calmly at the opposite end. Grace sat outside the room with Mia and the young intern, Daniel. She twisted the end of her scarf nervously. What if they still fire me? She whispered. Mia put a hand on her shoulder. You did nothing wrong, Grace. Not this time. Inside the boardroom, Mr. King connected the intern's phone to the big screen. Before we start, he said, everyone needs to see this. The lights dimmed. The video played. No music. No editing. Just raw truth. They saw Grace rushing to clean. The waiter bumping into her. The coffee falling. Mr. Carter's rage. Her kneeling on the floor. His cruel words. People like you should not even be seen. You're fired. When the video ended, no one spoke. The silence was heavier than any shout. Finally, the oldest board member, Mr. Ahmed, spoke. When we started this company, he said slowly, we had nothing. We were the ones cleaning our own office. We respected every worker. That was our culture. He turned to Mr. Carter. What happened to you? He asked softly. You forgot where you came from. Mr. Carter's eyes were red now. I was under pressure. The clients, the meeting, my family. Stress is not an excuse to crush a poor person's dignity, Mr. Ahmed said coldly. Another board member spoke. And what if this video goes online? She added. This could destroy our image. People will think we support this behavior. Mr. King nodded. I made a promise to my mother, he said. No one will be allowed to treat workers like this in my buildings. So I'll make it very simple. He looked straight into Mr. Carter's eyes. Either he steps down today, he said, or I pull my investments and support from this company. The words hit like a bomb. Mr. Carter's jaw dropped. Step down? Sir, please. I built this company's profits. You can't. This company is more than your ego, Mr. King replied. You care more about your shoes than the people who clean your floors. The board members exchanged looks. One by one, they nodded. Mr. Ahmed took a deep breath. Mr. Carter, he said, for the sake of the company, and for basic human decency, we are removing you as CEO. Effective immediately. It was over. Just like that. The man who shouted in the lobby a few hours ago, now sat broken in his chair. His face went pale. His pride crashed harder than that coffee tray. He thought being rich made him untouchable. But disrespect has a price. And today, he had to pay it. Outside the boardroom, the door opened. Grace stood up, heart racing. Mr. King stepped out with Mr. Ahmed. Grace, Mr. King said gently, we want to talk to you. She swallowed. Am I fired, sir? Mr. Ahmed shook his head. No, my dear. We want to apologize. Tears filled her eyes again. This time, not from pain, but from shock. You should never have been treated like that, Mr. King said. From today, we'll be creating a new position, staff care supervisor. Someone who will make sure all workers are respected and heard. He smiled softly. If you'd like it, he said, that job is yours. Grace stared at him. Mine, she whispered. But I'm just a maid. You are not just anything, Mr. Ahmed said firmly. You are loyal, hardworking, patient. You know what the workers go through every day. That makes you perfect for this role. Grace covered her mouth with her hands. For a moment, she couldn't speak. Then she began to cry quietly. Thank you, sir, she said at last. Thank you, so much. And one more thing, Mr. King added. We will help with your son's school fees. You said you don't want your child to suffer like you. We'll make sure he doesn't. Grace shook her head in disbelief. Why are you being so kind to me? Mr. King smiled sadly. Because once, he said, someone was kind to my mother. And it changed my life. Behind them, Mr. Carter stepped out of the boardroom. He was not wearing his fancy jacket now. His tie was loose. He looked smaller somehow. He walked up to Grace. His eyes were wet. Grace, he said quietly, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. There was no crowd now. No guests. No cameras. Just truth. Grace looked at him. For a moment, she remembered his words in the lobby. People like you. Now he was the one looking down. Please, he whispered, if this ever reaches outside, my career, my family. Grace took a slow breath. I forgive you, she said softly. Not because you deserve it. But because I don't want to carry your hate in my heart. He looked up, surprised. But remember, Mr. Carter, she added, respect is free. It costs nothing. You lost everything today, just because you refused to give what is free. He had no answer. He just turned and walked away down the hall, alone. Weeks passed. The company changed. New rules were made for staff treatment. Abuse and insults were no longer ignored. Grace now wore a new uniform. Not the faded maid dress, but a neat office outfit with a name badge. Grace, staff care supervisor. Workers came to her with their problems. She listened. She smiled. She remembered what it felt like to be ignored. She made sure no one felt that again. One evening, as she left the building with Liam holding her hand, she saw a man outside cleaning the front steps in a simple worker's vest. For a second, she almost didn't recognize him. It was Mr. Carter. Life had hit him hard. He had lost his position. No company wanted a CEO with a viral video of cruelty. His savings were running out. Now he worked part-time doing small jobs, trying to start over. He looked up and saw her. He quickly looked away, ashamed. Grace paused. Liam tugged her hand. Mama, isn't that the man who was mean to you? She smiled sadly. Yes, baby. But look, life already taught him his lesson. Mr. Carter walked over slowly. I'm glad you're doing well, he muttered. I heard about your new job. Grace nodded. I hope you also learned something, sir. He swallowed. I did, he said. I learned that one moment of pride can destroy everything. She gave a small, kind smile. Then your karma worked, she said. Maybe now, you will treat people better. He nodded, eyes shining with regret. Grace turned to her son. Come on, Liam, she said. We're going home. As they walked away, the camera would slowly pull back if this were a video. A poor maid who was once on her knees, now walking tall. A rich boss who once laughed at her, now cleaning the same ground he used to walk over proudly. That is how life works sometimes. Ending message. Never judge someone by their job, their clothes, or their bank balance. The floor you walk on today might be the one you clean tomorrow, but the heart you respect today will remember you forever. Have you ever seen someone treat a worker badly in real life? Next time, don't stay silent.